Perkins. Useni is my African name, and it's taken from the country of Malawi, which is in East Africa. And the meaning of Useni means tell me. So Useni Eugene Perkins, as you know, I was born in 1932, which means I'm 88 years old. And I founded the Association of the Development of Black Youth in 1980. I also was a professor at Chicago State University for 15 years. And so that gives you a brief background of my professional life. I have worked with several of the community organizations, providing them with staff training and other support systems, the Black United Fund, and I have spoken at most of the schools in South Shore. I can't remember the names of all of them, but many times, especially during Black History Month, I'm asked to come in to speak to the children, and mainly because of the poem I wrote, Hey Black Child. Seems like that poem is everywhere.
The beautiful thing, since we talk about beauty, the beautiful thing about your life and your work is that you took care of every generation. You wrote for the adults, yes, and you wrote for the children. Plays that you wrote. At ETA Theater, very often we could take our classes to these plays, the Black Fairy. You know, why can't there be a Black Fairy? Please send me some magic so I can make every Black child free. With some music, you know, these are the things that appeal to children. We can tell them all day long about a book like this, but not a lot of young people are going to pick up a book like this unless they're in class and the teacher calls it to their attention.
Hey Black child, do you know who you are, who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey Black child, do you know where you're going, where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey Black child, do you know you're strong? I mean really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey Black child, be what you can be, learn what you must learn, do what you can do, and tomorrow your nation will be what you want it to be.
And that's not real hunger.
So, yeah, that's not hunger. That's what I say. I've never been hungry one day in my life. And other people in other countries can't say that. What the heck? Look, I mean, I'm not rich, but I'm not poor, man. So the Black Arts Movement was an appendage of the Black Power movement. We don't have that today. So these young, talented writers of all genres do not have a movement of resistance, a movement of liberation to nurture that art that they're doing.
So here we go. Hey, Black child, do you know who you are, who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey, Black child, do you know you're strong? I mean, really strong. Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey, Black child, do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey, Black child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow, your nation will be what you want it to be. Right? So here we go.
Useni Eugene Perkins was a distinguished poet, playwright, and youth worker. Born in Chicago on September 13, 1932, he was the son of Marion Perkins, a sculptor, and Eva Perkins. Being exposed to the arts at a young age through his father would prove to be a major influence on his later years. He attended Chicago's Wendell Phillips High School, where he developed an interest in writing. Graduating in January 1950, he stayed in the city for his college education, earning a B.S. in group work from George Williams College in 1963. After graduation, he worked as the program director for the Henry Horner Chicago Boys Club. It was during this time that he also pursued an MS in administration, which he received in 1966. In that year, Perkins became the executive director of the Better Boys Foundation of Chicago, a social agency involved in community, social, educational, and cultural development. Raised in the housing projects of Chicago and having established a career as a sociologist dealing with troubled youth, he authored the 1976 book, Home is a Dirty Street: The Social Oppression of Black Children. Upon leaving his post with the Better Boys Foundation in 1982, Perkins became an executive consultant in Chicago with INESU Consultants, where he stayed for 2 years. He was still very active in writing, penning several sociological books on African American youth, as well as publishing books of poetry and authoring various plays that were produced in theaters in Chicago. Useni served on the board of ETA for over 20 years, earning a title of Life Trustee. He was actively involved in ETA throughout his career, contributing as a creative/talented writer, proving stories in the first voice. In 1986, he became the social director for the Chicago Urban League, and 2 years later became the chief executive officer of the Urban League of Portland, Oregon. Returning to Chicago in 1990 as the interim president of the DuSable Museum of African American History, Perkins founded the Association for the Positive Development of African American Youth in 1991, which he served as president and became the project director of the Family Life Center at Chicago State University. February 25, 1999 was proclaimed Useni Eugene Perkins Day in Chicago. He was a married father of 3 and lived in Chicago. Useni Eugene Perkins passed away on May 7, 2023 at the age of 90. On behalf of ETA Creative Arts Foundation, our founders, our board of directors, our staff, and the community we serve, Useni Eugene Perkins, we salute you.